Okay, so some of you may recall sometime last year, Tom Brady made an appearance on The Shop where he spoke about how one team pulled the plug on him in the 11th hour of free agency, which brought us that viral clip on social media.
There was a story in free agency. One of the teams, they were interested and all of a sudden they weren't interested at the very end. I was sitting there thinking, you're sticking with that motherfucker? Are you serious?
Tom probably had no desire to go to that team, but now it's like, why don't you want me?
Absolutely. Absolutely. When I look back, I'm like, there's no fucking way I would have went to that team. But they said they didn't want me, and I know what that means. I know what that feels like, and I'm gonna fuck you up because of that.
Tom Brady entering free agency in 2020 was one of the biggest news in the NFL, especially after the QB spent 20 seasons in Foxborough and decided not to sign a short-term contract, but rather try his luck in free agency. And the rumor was there were a few teams interested in Brady's services in 2020, which included the likes of the Chargers, Bears, Titans, and Raiders. The quarterback would eventually go on to sign with the Bucs, and we all know what happened. Brady won his 7th Super Bowl. But after that, when this viral clip made the rounds last year, many began speculating that Tom was referring to Jimmy Garoppolo and the San Francisco 49ers as the team that didn't want him. Then it was rumored that Derek Carr may have actually been that motherfucker who Tom was referring to, which was quickly squashed in an interview where Carr confirmed that it wasn't him. Anyways, so check this out. During UFC 278 on the Gronkcast, Dana White let it slip during a conversation about the team and the QB Tom was referring to on The Shop.
I worked to put that deal together for Brady and Gronk to come to the Raiders. And it was almost a done deal. And at the last minute, Gruden blew the deal up and said that he didn't want him. And all hell broke loose, man. It was crazy, and Brady was already looking at houses, and it wasn't being said yet that Gronk was coming. So Las Vegas would have had Brady and Gronk the year that the Bucs won the Super Bowl, except Gruden blew the deal up. And there's so much story that goes along with this behind the scenes, and I was never going to tell that story till Gronk just said it, but yeah.
And Dana,
let me tell you what, Brady
exactly
was
what
not
happened,
happy.
and you just told the story.
So there you have it, and this was confirmed by Brady's former teammate, Gronk. It was indeed John Gruden who at the last minute decided not to sign Tom Brady and stick with Derek Carr instead. And boy, I wonder how Raiders fans are feeling right now. This has to go down as one of the biggest what-ifs in their history. Imagine if they actually had the GOAT on their team for the last 2 seasons. In 2020, they were an 8-8 team with Derek Carr and made the postseason last year, so it just makes you wonder what would have or could have been with Tom Brady. However, there are some speculating none of this makes sense because Brady said there was no effing way he would have went to that team, while Dana's comments made it sound like it was all but a done deal. Personally, I think one or the other, while in the heat of telling a story, somewhat embellished to make their story sound a bit better. This story was also corroborated by Gronk as he confirmed that this was the case and it was John Gruden who made the decision not to sign the GOAT. Regardless, Tom did get some revenge in 2020 when the Bucs beat the living daylights out of the Raiders 45-20 in Las Vegas.